welcome. This is the BREWDCAST. I am, as always, Bud Robinson. To my up there is Leon Robinson. Say hi, Leon.
Hi, Leon.
To my up there is the Town Orange. Say hi, Town.
The Orange Town.
The Orange Town.
Hi.
These are bad questions. So let's just address the elephant in the room, because 2/3 of us are very excited about it. We have a new All-Atlantic champion. We talked about this last week, but we can address it more appropriately now because I have seen the match, and I imagine Leon has.
Match?
Yeah, OC. Orange Cassidy versus Pac.
I've seen that match like 500 times.
That's true. That is a good point.
I'm not talking to either of you.
What did you think of the match, Bud?
Okay, here's the mastery that I saw in that match. In every other match I've seen with those two, which is not all of them, I think it's 2 other ones, it's been technical, it's been high-flying, it's been quick. And one of those things was true in this match. Whereas in the last match that they had together, Pac cheated once towards the end. Through this one, it was clear that Pac was like he was teasing him, he was messing with him, he was threatening to cheat the whole time. Like, it was very clear that he was threatened. And for obvious reason. I just thought that was amazing storytelling to me.
Yeah, it was a good match. I wasn't too stunned this week when the trios belt was on the line between Death Triangle and the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. I was like, oh, we're gonna do this match again.
They should have given it to the Best Friends. They should have given it to the Best Friends.
Disagree. Totally disagree. For once, normally I'd be like, yeah, give Orange Cassidy all the belts, but they're clearly doing something with Pac and the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah,
there's clearly some. So I like that. I think that's good. I think moving forward that'll be really good. That's all I got. Hangman's
Lucha
okay.
Brothers trying to be a force for good in Pac's life. You don't need to cheat, mate.
It's not going to work.
There's a lot of that going around.
I thought last night that Hangman was paralyzed.
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
the way he fucking landed, dear God.
He was paralyzed. And the way they pulled the camera away, and then I watched a video on Twitter or something, and he wasn't moving his arms or legs, and I was like, oh no. But then he just had a concussion, so I'm really happy for that.
I think Dave reported that he gave the thumbs up as he was going out.
Yeah.
Which is obviously good.
I thought
Az's reaction really fucking sold it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was hit by it. He was shook by it. Yeah.
But I suppose breaking.
Considering he's a guy who broke his neck in the ring. It had to feel dredge up some feels for him.
More than once, no less. Or maybe I'm thinking of Sabu.
What did you guys think of the show last night?
I thought it was really solid.
I thought it was solid, but not spectacular.
I watched last week's and this week's today, and I think wrestling wise, both shows were excellent.
Yeah, they were.
I think they were excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed last night's show.
It was good. The main event was. I know that Leon didn't like the MJF promo, but I thought it was great. I thought they're telling a story there, and then I personally liked the. I liked the ending where MJF said, "I'm going to beat you. I'm going to actually work for it this time."
Yeah.
I think he needs to beat Moxley clean.
Yeah.
I think if they have him beat Moxley clean, they're going to have just a superstar.
Or
I think that's going to happen.
Or, because it's MJF, it's all a giant swerve. And he pulls the rug out from under us. He kicks out the firm, it's very clear that he's like going legit. He's going to be a good guy. And then it's all gaslighting. In which case, like, kudos to him for like making us want him to be a face and then flipping it.
I just think the issue that you're going to run into is I don't know how much longer they can keep that guy heel. That's the problem, because the reactions are so they're getting really, really enormous, and he can kind of pull the crowd back, but at the same time he can't pull the crowd back.
I don't know.
I agree, but he's 1,000% going to pull the you cheered for me, you're all stupid
Fuck
thing.
you.
He's going to do it. It's coming.
It's I could see it going either way, and I think this is the mastery of storytelling that MJF has, is that he makes you think. It's the same thing that CM Punk has. He makes you wonder how much is a work and how much is real life. And he's 26, man. He's 26 and he can do this shit.
I think he's about to become the guy.
I think either way he's going to be the guy. I think
as much as Moxley's kind of their ace and Jericho is what he is, I think Moxley or MJF's going to become the most important guy in the company pretty quick. And I think all that money he wants, he's going to get.
I think he already has it, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's trying to get more. I think Tony Khan's going to have to pay out the ass for him in 2024.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's earned it. He really has. He's carried this company in a lot of ways. I mean, he's not by himself, but he's been a cornerstone for AEW this whole time. He's always had eyes on him.
Yep, I agree. I feel like Leon is not as big on MJF as we are. He's too busy. He's too busy loving Bray Wyatt.
Oh, good Lord! We're gonna do this quickly.
Yeah.
Before we move on to Bray, because that's going to be a whole thing. It might not. I'm really impressed with what they're doing with Blackpool right now, because they have programs for, like, you're still seeing new sides to Regal, you're still seeing new sides to Mox, and like you're seeing like Daniel Bryanson is, did I say it right that time? Brian. No. Diane. He's starting to like feel like maybe he's not as good as he could be. And I love what they're doing with those group. And in particular, I love what they're doing with Blackpool Combat Club and MJF. So I think MJF is kind of like, fuck you guys, I'm going to do it anyway.
Leon was shitting on that earlier today in the chat, saying that it wasn't any good.
I didn't say it wasn't any good. I was taking issue with his overacting in his constant need to throw inside baseball on everything.
I mean, I get that. That's kind of like his person, though. It's not even just his character, because even when he's on Twitter, and he doesn't ever break character.
He lives his gimmick, pal.
He does the whole thing. What?
He lives his gimmick, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
everything's a work.
I think sometimes
art is a lie.
I think sometimes
everything's a work.
I think sometimes the simplest stories are the ones that you need to tell. I think that what they're doing with Danielson and Wheeler Yuta is a great story, and I think they set it up. And I think it's pretty basic. Like, dude, fuck you. Look what you did. You picked this guy, and he was the right guy. So I think it's, with Garcia and everything. I think sometimes those stories are the best. And sometimes that's all you need. You don't need it to be complicated.
Yeah.
You don't need to start somebody on fire and have them turn into a different person. And in spite of what Leon thinks.
I mean, the swerve is fun, but only when it's done well, right? Like, Vince overused the swerve. Both Vinces overused the swerve, and we've gotten burned by it a lot of times. But I think there are people who can do the swerve very well and very, like, casually, so you don't even notice it's happening until it's already happened.
And you're like, ooh. Yeah,
MJF is one of those guys.
I think that has the potential to be good because there's a lot of potential ways that could go, and we don't know what they're going to do with it. I liked the MJF promo. I thought it was good. I think he's playing to the audience that AEW has. We're smart fans.
Yeah.
We know the shit and we know what's going on, and we're not, and he takes those real things that happened and uses them. I don't see a problem with that. That's what works.
It's also how he grew up. Like, that's how he grew up with wrestling.
So a lot of us,
like us, well, we didn't always have that. We remember a time when it was Hogan and there was kayfabe and there was The Undertaker was actually a dead person. But like a lot of his experience with wrestling, and a lot of guys coming up right now, I'm not saying it's him exclusively, but his experience with wrestling is DX and NWO and these guys who sort of talked inside baseball and made references to the companies they actually worked in.
I think Leon just wants it to be 1987.
Maybe.
He'd be happier. He'd be happier.
Just be bigger. There'd be more hosses in 1987.
He loves hosses. With face paint. What are we talking about now?
There's nothing wrong with face paint.
I mean, do we want to talk about Bray?
Probably.
We might as well. We're poking the bear already.
I poked him earlier today too. So, I'm just gonna come right out and say that I like Bray Wyatt, and I think Bray Wyatt is a star. I don't think he is a top guy. I think he's a star, and I think he's a guy that if you use him right, he can bring ice to your product, but he's never going to be the guy. And I think based on The Fiend and how The Fiend was booked and all that shit, I am not that excited to see him wrestle or to see him do anything. Because he's going to do segments, he's going to be spooky, and he's going to do weird stuff. And that's great, and that's awesome. But then he goes in the ring and it sucks. That's where I'm at with him. And you can blame we can blame Vince for the booking. We can do whatever we want, and that's fine. But I am not, based on what I've seen before, I'm not that excited about it. Leon, any retort to that one? What? I didn't hear what that was.
I didn't hear what you said, Leon.
I made him so mad. Well, defend your fucking point. That's what we're doing here. I want to hear what you have to say. I'm poking the bear for a reason.
Here's the thing. He's not put on a technical 5-star classic kind of guy. He can put on a believable, hard-hitting wrestling match. Professional wrestling. Yeah?
Okay. So I'm gonna have a little problem with what you said because you said believable. Is setting another person on fire and then having come back from the dead believable?
Yes, because that's in every one of his wrestling matches.
Well, that's not a lot of them.
We were talking about wrestling matches. We weren't talking about the stupid segment that they did to it. We weren't talking about stupid segment shit or stupid end of the match stuff. We were talking about wrestling matches.
His wrestling matches they're okay. Like you said, he's not a 5-star guy. He's a brawler, which is fine. But if you look back at working with the Fiend, it was really hard to work with the Fiend.
Yeah,
because the way he wrestled, the way he did things, he wasn't gonna sell because he couldn't because he's the Fiend, and he's like an undead monster. I don't even know what the fuck he was. Was he a monster? What was he? Like I don't know. He was the Fiend. So like
the best I could put it is, I mean, I compared the Fiend to, or actually, excuse me, let me correct myself. I compared whatever this new persona is, the one with that, the giant chin mask thing. I compared that one kind of to the Beast from Split, but in the fact of being super powerful and almost invulnerable. The Fiend was kind of like that, and that it's a lot like the old Undertaker in a lot of ways, which isn't easy to book, but they have made it work, and then eventually they can make it work. It's not just an invincible thing. Like, you can go out there and have actual matches rather than just being gimmicks all the time. But they've never really gotten to that point. They've kind of leaned heavier into all the supernatural and the you can't kill it, so we need to escalate and escalate and escalate, which gets you real quick into the realm of unbelievability.
Mhm.
Like, suspension of disbelief only goes so far with it. So if they do it where they don't escalate to stupid, goofy levels, it can be done really well. But the thing of it is, they've always tried to push it further and further and further, and they go way off into stupid land,
I
which is
wonder.
unfortunate.
Stupid
I
man.
I wonder what they're gonna do because
Yeah.
Bray was gimmick matches and gimmicky stuff, and it was
Mhm.
all it was a lot, and it never turned out well. And I just wonder if they're going to. I remember the original Bray Wyatt when he first came in.
Mhm.
That Bray Wyatt was fun, and that Bray Wyatt got popular, and then
I loved watching him in the ring too,
they just fucked
because
it up.
there was because he was a big old brawler, and he'd have those little character moments, like where after he'd do an avalanche of somebody into the corner, he'd do the little waltz thing around with the opponent, basically being a puppet with him and everything. Like, it was fun shit. It was good. And it wasn't like outlandish and so far outside the realm of a normal match. Like, it was still, yes, it was a lot, but it wasn't over the top, I guess.
I
It
think
wasn't pushing into that realm of unbelievability.
the spooky stuff just became too much in the fact that
Yeah. Yeah.
he was in the funhouse all the time doing all that, and it's just like, oh, okay, I don't know. It
Yeah,
didn't.
I'll give you
It
that.
worked.
Like,
It worked for a
it's
bit.
been leaned on too much. Like, I like it when they keep him a little bit more grounded and just, let him be a force out in the ring rather than just being this supernatural being and you can't touch him and all that. Like, like I said, it's the same kind of a problem that they ran into all the time with Undertaker way back in the day, is where he's he's an undead monster who feels no pain. How the fuck do you book that? How do you show that in the ring? It really kind of limits you. Where I like it where they actually kind of, where they don't lean too heavily into that, where they show that it is a person still there, and while, yeah, strong, scary stuff, but not, unbelievable. It's a fine line to walk, but they've shown that it can be done.
I look at what they did, and I look at the intro, and he like cut a promo on himself,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, what the fuck? We're doing this already? Like, we just got here and we're cutting a promo on ourselves. So like
I really like that.
so
Like
we're
that
gonna.
one. It kind of brought us up to speed of where he's been since he went away.
No,
Like, obviously,
I actually watched SmackDown. I
yeah, me
actually,
too.
from a hotel room in Iowa, I watched SmackDown. We're gonna go back to everything else we did, and it's gonna be if like the split personality thing that keeps coming up. Oh, dude, I don't know if I can handle that. That's just too much for me.
It's that there's been elements to that the entire time through the Fiend run and everything.
Yeah, that's
Like,
fine. And the
yeah,
fiend
because
run
there's
was
been, like, obviously Huskus was him when he was Husky Harris. I don't think it's ever been explicitly stated, but the theory that I've ran with on the whole Ramblin' Rabbit is kind of Bray as a kid, Wyndham as a kid. He loves wrestling. He loves the big heroes like John Cena. He's a big fan, all that kind of stuff. Like, Mercy was obviously him when he was in the cult leader thing. Like, I really enjoyed that being, different aspects of him.
I get it, but I think the jumping in and out of split personalities, I think we're getting a lot of sizzle and a lot of, and this is kind of how I felt about Bray for quite a while. Is you
Not
get,
a sizzle, not enough steak.
yeah, you get all the cool segments and the promos and the gimmicky shit, and then he gets in the ring and it's just kind of like, yeah, okay. It just
That's okay. I mean, like I said, they got to find a way to not make him where he's just invincible, because you can't really go anywhere from that. They have to find a way to walk that line where he's not just an invincible monster and you can't kill him or anything like that. You can't hurt him, you can't beat him, because if they go straight back to that, they book themselves into a corner again. If they do it smart, and yeah, if they do it smart, if they kind of, keep him not on TV every week, not doing shit constantly with him, and make him more of an attraction, which feeds into your point of maybe he's not the top guy thing. Like, I can accept that, as long as they keep him where he's not overexposed, he's not there every week, where they don't have to fucking just keep escalating and making it bigger and less believable.
Before Bud talks, I just want to say, he's no Roman Reigns. Go ahead, Bud.
You can curse before I start my point if you want, Leon. So, I will admit I am the person that started all of this, because I sort of just said, meh. Something that Leon just touched on, though, makes me more intrigued. And it's not the supernatural shit. It's not the split personality. He gave up. He just... he hung up.
No, I didn't. I was trying to check on something for my groceries that I'm picking up in a bit.
It's fair.
But apparently that shut this down. My apologies.
It's okay. I was just teasing. The thing that interests me about what you said is that, like, we're not just getting a look at, oh, look how spooky he is. Because that's fine and whatever, and, like, they've done it before, and he can be the replacement Undertaker if he wants to be. I don't have any interest in that. What would interest me is to see him elaborate on his character, like, do world building with just his character through these other personas. You know, like maybe for a few weeks he's Huskus, and you get to see what Huskus is like and how he got to be that way. And then you get, like, this depth in Bray Wyatt that we have not seen in other characters. I mean, except for maybe Jericho, because he's kind of doing the same thing. That's sort of a stretch, but that's more like him showing us different parts of his career, but we were already privy to that stuff. Whereas Bray, he has the chance to tell brand new stories, 6 brand new stories, with 6, not brand new characters, but, like, characters that he can elaborate on. That's intriguing.
So the thing that I've heard and read and heard people talk about is, it sounds like there's going to be the Wyatt 6, which is going to actually be a group, and all other people are going to portray the other Bray Wyatts.
God, I hope not.
That's what I've heard.
God, I hope not.
Really, really, really hope not.
I agree. I knocked Bray Wyatt a little bit, but, like, it's not him as much as the way this character was booked and dealt with. So, like, if they find a way to make it work, I'm all for it. Like, I don't dislike Bray Wyatt. I'm not saying
I could absolutely see them doing something like, and honestly, I kind of hope they do something like, the Faces of Foley thing, or like Bud just alluded to, what Jericho's been doing with slipping in and out of different personas that he's had, like the Painmaker, like Lionheart, like all that. I'd love to see them go back and forth between, the cult leader, bring the Fiend in there sometimes, bring the fucking child show host, and then Wyatt 6 or whatever the new, the giant chin guy persona is, the one that's, I guess, the new one that's, I don't know if this one's going to be more like, like the Beast in the Split analogy to it, or if the Fiend's still going to be like that, but this one's going to be more like in control, maybe throwing the Fiend out there and, puppet mastering the whole thing. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see where they go with that, but I would like to see him, slipping in and out of the different ones, maybe not in the same segment or that kind of stuff, but, using the different ones, but still having Bray do it.
Which they've done. They've done that with Finn Balor. They've done that with Asuka.
If I can quote Bud Robinson, what he said earlier was, and he might have just said this to me, the Demon and Finn Balor are interesting, and Bray Wyatt is not. You said that.
You're not quoting me there.
I am quoting you. I can go back and read what it said. It was something similar to that.
It's similar to that. I just think, like, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, let's say, you had none of these guys. Like Finn Balor existed, but he was in the Indies at this point. And so, like, if you had pushed... Okay, he was in Japan. If you had pushed Bray Wyatt back then, you could have had something really special, someone that could have taken over the helm for The Undertaker, something that would have been like creepy and cool. But now we have a lot of characters who are doing that, not split persona thing, but like changing their characters up from time to time. Finn Balor, for example. Chris Jericho is a great example.
Yeah, Finn Balor is actually another one where they could have benefited from the less is more thing, where Finn himself in his normal ring gear and everything, he does most of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then if a feud is getting really up there, stakes are higher, it's getting more personal, that kind of thing, then break out the Demon where he really needs to tap into something darker.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like they used to do with, like cage matches or last man standing type of thing. Like, shit's getting really real and I need to tap into something a little darker, a little more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll just have to see.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I don't know. I'm not really like bending over backwards to see it, I guess is all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I understand that because, I mean, they've done fucking Lucy and Charlie Brown with the football with this how many fucking times with Bray now? So
what a great analogy.
Totally, I like. Obviously, yeah, I got up in my feels when we were chatting about this morning, but like because you were poking the damn bear about it, but like I understand. Fuck you.
Yes,
but I understand the trepidation about it because, yeah. They have a very clear track record of letting him start out with a new character, a new gimmick, his own way, but then eventually just running it off the damn rails.
Can we agree that he's not Roman Reigns?
I think I know what Leon's.
What are the parameters for your statement here? I want to know what I'm agreeing to here.
That in terms of the overall package, Roman Reigns has more than Bray Wyatt.
I don't see how Roman has anything more other than he's pretty.
I mean, they're both pretty in different ways.
True.
Okay, look, can we admit that Roman's more traditionally handsome than Bray is? More mainstream attractive.
I don't care about that.
Can we agree that
he's a nice bear? That's all I'm saying. But I would not kick Roman out of bed. That's all. I'm just. They both have their appeal.
Can we just agree that Roman Reigns is a bigger star than Bray Wyatt?
Not without a whole bunch of caveats on this.
But it's true. At the end of the day, Roman Reigns is a bigger star than Bray Wyatt. And it can bother you.
At the end of the day, Chris Hero should have been the third member of the Shield. And it could have kept us from all this bullshit.
They would have just brought him in and done something else with him.
Cool.
Yeah. He'd be here no matter what.
Nuclear rocket ship.
He was inevitable. This is what you're saying. Roman was inevitable.
We got the Rock's cousin down here. He doesn't have blue eyes, but let's make his eyes steel blue.
That was the problem, you see, with Rikishi and Umaga.
Because Rikishi didn't have enough teeth in his mouth.
He didn't have the blue eyes. That was the problem.
The blue eyes.
It was the blue eyes.
Gotta be the steel blue eyes. Yeah.
Steel blue eyes.
That's what Michael Cole had to say. I don't know.
Michael Cole was very keen on the steel blue eyes.
Look at his steel blue eyes.
I prefer the brown. That's all I'm saying.
What the fuck? They didn't book Roman good either.
No.
Because they force fed him. And everyone got sick of him. And then they gave him a good character. And then they ruined that character. And then he kind of brings it back, but now everybody's still sick of it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's hard not to be. Unless you're a Vince evangelist, like how can you look at Roman Reigns and say he's the best thing that they have right now? Except in a lot of ways he is.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think he actually is. Because I don't know. They have other things that are coming up. They have other things that are coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hey, it's pretty good. You got the WWE champion. He's got the second best Superman punch in the business.
Yeah.
Second best. Still hate that move.
Buzz behind the orange punch. Who does it much better? But yeah,
no, we got that. We got that.
He's doing all right. He's doing all right. I'm excited for Roman to lose the belt. And I'm excited for Roman to go away for like 3 months. And then for him to come back, and I think it'll be better. I think getting him out and then bringing him back and having Triple H kind of call the shots with him is going to be a better move. Because they are kind of booked into a corner with him right now. Because he's beaten everybody. And you can't just pull the belt off of him real quick. You have to have a plan. Because him being the champion matters. So when he loses that belt, it's going to be a big deal. So.
Does anybody else think it's going to be Sammy?
No.
No, I think Sammy might be the biggest face in the company when he finally turns on them. But I don't see them putting it on him.
I think Sammy and KO are going to win the tag belts at Mania from the Usos. I think that's what they're going to end up doing.
Ooh, that's intriguing.
Yeah, that's what I think they're going to do. Because I think they're going to... I don't know what they're going to do because they gotta separate those belts. Because they need a belt on each show because it'll make it better. And I think Triple H will do a better job with the brand split. I would hope because Vince did not. He just ran. I want this guy to be here. Who's on the other show? I don't care. Bring him. No one knows. They're stupid. So, yeah.
This was your idea, Vince. WTF.
Wild card rules.
Yeah. But what else do you have on your list now that we've talked about things? And Leon never got mad at me.
That was surprisingly civil.
He got a little mad at me when I said Bray wasn't Roman. But other than that, we did okay.
As you pointed out,
I explained myself and why I felt the way I did, and I think Leon understands. I understand the way Leon feels. Leon's a big Bray fan. I get it. I hope it works. Is that good for me to say? I hope it goes well because I'd like to see Bray actually matter. So,
yes, please.
Yeah. What do you got, bud?
I would very much like to see that, please.
Yes. Nyla Rose. So I saw the business with Nyla Rose now. Town's not interested. Here's my thing. Like, Nyla Rose is money. And I don't know why they have put her on the back burner for so long. If this is the way that they have to give it to her, like, that's fine with me. That's fine with me because she's amazing as, like, the person who's, like, teasing people and, like, messing with them. Particularly because she has Vicky Guerrero, right? Like, I think that A, she's good at poking the bear, and B, she's funny.
Let her be who she is on Twitter.
Let her just be who she is, exactly. And like,
yes. She's fucking hilarious.
Also fucking huge. Like, if there's any, I've said this like 100 times at this point, but it seems like Nyla might be the one. Especially since Nyla is more established than I think anybody that Jade Cargill has faced. And I'm sure somebody could say no to that because I don't know for sure.
I don't think Jade's gone against anybody who's been in the company since day one, other than Nyla yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if we look, that'll probably be proven wrong. But I mean, nobody that's been presented as, you know, a legitimate threat, someone that could possibly be a champion and everything there. And that's the thing. Ruby hasn't been there since day one.
I suppose.
Yeah.
My issue
Jade was around before Ruby was.
My issue with this is that I have to watch Jade Cargill act, and it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It hurts my soul on the inside.
Yeah.
It makes my feelings sad.
My issue too is that it seems like they're booking Jade Cargill as the face in this exchange. And I'm like, don't do that. Like, I recognize that Nyla is normally a heel, and she's acting like a heel, but like she's the one that I care about. Like, she's the one. I don't care about Jade Cargill. She just beats the shit out of everybody, and then like her lackeys like talk smack to everybody. Like, I don't need to see that anymore. It was fun for like a week.
I will be stunned beyond belief if Jade loses to Nyla. I will be stunned because they clearly see Jade as the future, and they've been booking her, and they've been booking her, and they've been booking her, and they're not going to have her lose to the person that is automatically the number one contender for a new champion to lose to. You know what I mean? She goes out there, new champion, fights and loses every time, just about.
Yeah, she's been the gatekeeper. I think we've talked about this before. She's been like Archer used to be for the world championship.
Exactly what she is, and I like Nyla. I think Nyla's a better in-ring worker than she gets credit for.
Mm-hmm.
I think early on I struggled with Nyla, but they had her fighting Riho, which I don't think was a good match for her. Those matches were not good. Those matches were not good. They were hard to watch. I think as I've seen her more, I think she's pretty good. I think her Twitter is hilarious. I think she's got a lot of charisma. But I just don't see them. I just cannot see them having her beat Jade because I think Jade is. I don't think they know what the fuck to do with Jade. I think that's the problem. Because they know Jade's a star. Jade looks like a star. She's the future. She says she's that. But they don't actually know where, like, what are we doing? Are we going to have Jade fight for the women's championship and win it? Because that wouldn't be good. Like, she's clearly not ready for that.
Mm-mm.
But at some point, you can't, this is the Goldberg Ultimate Warrior conundrum that you have.
Yeah.
At some point,
I don't see them. Yeah, I don't see. That's the thing. I don't see them taking the TBS belt off of her until they're ready to hotshot her right to the women's world title. But either that or try to challenge and be a double champ for it. And
TBS title is everything the TNT title is not. The TBS title has been a complete letdown. Like the TNT title, for a while at least, it was good. Right now, they're not doing enough with it because they have 40 other belts because they have those freaking ROH belts. But the TNT title, when
that having to fucking have a couple segments of TV time every week is really.
Yeah.
Like, I understand Tony wants to keep the brand out there until he gets a new TV deal done, but it's just, like you said, it's too many fucking belts for one show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It sounds like ROH is going to be a show.
Yeah.
Well, with the backing they have, definitely coming.
I look at the situation. I just think there's no way Jade's going to lose. But I don't think they know what they're doing with Jade. I really don't. Because you have to have some kind of plan. You can't have... You have this person running roughshod, and she's been undefeated. And that's the other issue that I have. When Bill Goldberg was undefeated, and it worked, that dude was fighting like 4 matches a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said he fought 8, which is impossible, mind you, but whatever. So they'd have like a number up. Yeah, and for them, it's like, oh, she's 40-0. She's been fucking TNT or TBS champion for a year.
Mm-hmm.
She only fought 40 matches? Like, what are we doing? So that's another problem I think with it is she doesn't wrestle enough. But
that's not even counting. I mean, that's she's been TBS champion for a year, but like she wasn't TBS champion for all of that 40-0. So like, what the fuck?
Yeah, how many matches into her career was she when they made her the TBS champ?
I think it was like 18.
Yeah,
18.
Had she hit double digits?
Oh yeah, she's at like 18
Okay.
when she did.
Okay.
Yeah, and that belt is just not. I really was hoping they put that belt on Ruby and just let her have wild matches.
yeah.
Let her go, and they didn't do it. But they went with Jade because I get what they're trying to do, but it's like it's one of those things. It almost feels Romanesque because I don't think it's working.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like a star, she acts like a star, but everybody kind of when you talk about Jade, it's just like, yeah, she has a look. Yeah, she probably has a charisma. She can't cut a promo. She can't work, and everybody's just kind of like, meh. I don't think that's
Yeah,
good.
it's those things. It's the outcome of pretty much any encounter she's going to have because like anybody who's going to challenge her is just going to get. I do like that they've been making some of her matches more competitive now.
Mm-hmm.
That they're not just throwing her in there with randos every week, like her stuff with Athena or stuff with Ruby, like where it's not just been her running through people. She's gotten a little better in that respect, but the thing of it is, they're not going to put her in there with Toni Storm or Thunder Rosa or Britt or anything like that right now because she'll get ate the fuck up. So it's like she's so much above anybody who might challenge her, but then the divide between her and
the upper
the
card.
people that are the other ladies that are on TV every week, like. There's a real clear delineation there, a big old gap between them.
Ooh, delineation. What a word by Leon. I'm impressed.
I like big word town. I got word today calendar.
Well, it's giving you a thumbs up.
Toilet paper.
That's smart.
That was a really good explanation, Leon. That was a really good explanation. I give you props. That was perfect. I have nothing to say.
Yeah. Leon
said what I wanted to say.
My only add into that is I think that maybe if they recognize the fact that she has gotten stale and that she is not as fire as she was when she first started, the solution is to get her to do something else. And that is get the TBS title off of her and figure out something else. But what the fuck do you do with her at that point? You can't have her chase for the world title. You could have her chase for the TBS title. Maybe she goes off of TV for a while and then they could bring her back in a few months to do something. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Have her get eat a loss, and then freak out about it and disappear from TV for a while.
I could see that.
They should bring her back with a mask and have her do a funhouse thing, and do all this weird shit and make her spooky.
I was when you said mask, I thought you were saying like a luchador. Ever
no.
Fight for the fight in AAA or something.
What's Tom Savini doing? I bet he's not doing anything. He could make her a mask. That'd be original.
He's probably got an exclusive deal with the E. You will not work with any other wrestling companies.
Oh, I bet not. Because I don't think Tom Savini would do that. Tom Savini wants to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. He's a cool guy.
RVD had a similar situation. He was getting his singlets airbrushed, but the guy was free to work wherever. We can talk about the ROH deal. We brought that up. The only thing that I've heard is that Tony Khan has some more positive news about a potential ROH TV show. But outside of that, I don't know.
Announcement.
I'll tell
30-minute YouTube show every other week.
Oh God.
I think they're gonna get some time on a Turner channel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
naturally.
I don't think they're gonna get a ton. I don't think we're gonna get a 2 hour. I think we're gonna get an hour.
I could see an hour.
I don't think it's gonna be the world's greatest time slot.
I'm thinking 11 o'clock on Saturday.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that, and just something where it's going to kind of be there, and they'll be able to do their thing.
AM or PM, I'm not
The
sure.
thing I'm more excited about is that he is trying to get a women's AEW women's wrestling show on TV.
Really?
Yes, that's the one that
No
we
shit.
kind of go, ooh. And Bud's making a face right
I'm
now.
not.
That's okay. You're making a face.
No, I am making a face. I'm not sold on that idea because they have done exactly fuck all with their women's roster. And
But if you have a
granted,
show,
last week or the week before, I said they have these 8 people who can go, and you can put your entire your entire division around those 8 people. Great. You need more than 8 people for an hour-long show.
I agree. But if they had a show like that, and they could start bringing some people in, they would actually do something with them, and there'd be the possibility of actually creating some stars. And Jade would be there, and you'd be happy.
Maybe. To be fair, I'm thinking of like other companies have done this sort of thing before, and it always fails for the same reason.
Yeah.
But I've also said about 100 times on this show that if anybody can do it, AEW can, because Tony Khan has pulled gold out of some shitty storylines that have been done in other companies.
Yep.
Storylines that have been done in other companies that were shitty, and Tony pulls them out. It's just gold. So I'm hopeful. I would love a women's show. I would watch a women's show, but I'm also not holding my breath.
I think if you managed to put it around the right people, and you had a little bit of a storyline and you kind of went with it, I think it could be good. But you're right. That's true. That has failed numerous times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of bringing to mind to me myself. I was, if we'll recall, when the did the Cruiserweight Classic, and then they decided they were going to make 205 Live. Everybody was jazzed for it, and then all of a sudden it was, it's an hour on fucking Saturday on the network, and it's like, I don't know when I'm going to get time to go watch that. And, then it crashed and burned and nobody cared. And
I think the only difference is that Vince hates cruiserweights and was never going to truly get behind them. And I feel like Tony Khan will get behind the women.
Yeah.
That is a fair point.
I think his biggest issue with it is they're not high on his priority list as other things are. And he's got such a bloated roster.
He can't produce it. He can't. Because he's already doing, that's not based on his gender. It is in part based on his gender, but he's already got Dynamite. He's already got Rampage. He's already got too much on his plate.
I agree.
But there's also
Elevation, the upcoming ROH show.
Mm-hmm. And he needs to lean on other guys. Yeah. And I think he needs to do the same with the ROH show. I think that he has a clear vision for AEW. But when you get to the women's division, when you get to ROH, it's a little bit muddier. And I think part of that is because he's probably, I don't know for sure, but I think he's pulling a lot of the strings in those two areas. And he's just not doing well with it.
The women's have been really hit and miss for me because sometimes it lands and sometimes it's just, what is this? So, yeah, I would agree. I think you get some people there to help them put that one together, but I'd be down for that, at least to give that a shot, because I think they have some people that could get on that show, and I think it would be a good way, especially with how bloated the roster is, but
yeah.
What else you got, bud?
I think you could let Regal run something like that.
Yeah, ROH. Either ROH or definitely ROH.
ROH, yeah, but I was actually thinking the women's show.
I would still say a woman would make more sense. And that's not a knock on Regal. It's just that the style of wrestling is significantly different from what Regal is used to.
I think if you put Regal in charge of ROH, that would be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fucking amazing. Because he gets that style of wrestling.
I think okay, I have to go off on a bit of a tirade here because it's been bugging me. The Ocho is doing this thing where he wants to fight all of the old ROH champions, which on paper sounds really cool. Mm-hmm. And we have talked about on this show, you put Chris Jericho with the title, and then there's more appeal to having a show. The problem is you have all of these guys, like Dalton Castle, for example, or even Claudio Castagnoli, who Chris Jericho is disposing of. And now, like, if Chris Jericho's not going to be on the ROH show, why the fuck would I want to watch these guys that Chris Jericho fought and lost to? Like, you're making ROH a lesser brand to AEW, which if you have these guys who you've made a big deal of on AEW, it makes it look silly.
I think Jericho is going to be on the ROH show. I think that's how they're going to get it.
Yeah, but for how long?
He was a big part of them getting their TV deal for AEW. So
yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
True.
I think they're going to put him on ROH for a while.
They did also make a comment, I think it was this week's Dynamite, where they were like, Chris Jericho, like Lionheart Chris Jericho is sort of the heart of what ROH is meant to be, or something like that. So you could be right. That would make sense.
For that, I think if you build that right and you have somebody, I would almost have a newer guy, younger guy, get built up to beat him for that belt.
Mm-hmm.
Not a Claudio or anybody like that. Have somebody new. And he's
Garcia
cheating
do
so
it,
much.
or Yuta.
He's cheating so much too,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of adds to the whole thing. What else is on your list, bud?
What else is on my list? So I was gonna bring up the fact that Shawn Spears came back, which I thought was pretty cool. I don't know if we have much to say about that. I think it's interesting that he came back with the 10 gimmick, and I also find it very interesting that they're like
repackaging him.
No, like they have the Pinnacle back minus MJF.
It.
Yeah, they're reforming it. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. That's interesting because like that
red herring. Leon just thinks it's a red herring because he's going to go back to the other group and be a heel.
What other group?
The group with the guy that does the thing with the other guy.
Yeah, the one. The guy the guys.
The guy that's tall and looks like Test but isn't Test.
Now I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm lost.
Okay. What are they called? The guys that helped him win the.
Are you talking about the Firm?
Oh, the Firm.
Yeah, the Firm. Does the tall guy, William Morrissey or whatever, does he not look like Test?
He does look like Test.
God.
He's Test adjacent. I would agree with that.
The first time he came out dressed the way he was, I'm like, is that fucking Test? Like, no, Test is dead. Never mind.
Test is pretty dead.
God damn.
I hope not. I don't want to see Shawn Spears as a heel. He kind of sucks as a heel.
His wife.
I have a question because since I never actually watched the TV version, when the last Dynamite before the pay-per-view here in Vegas, did they air his like story about his dad beating the fuck or him beating the fuck out of some guy with a wrench or some shit? It was right before his match with Wardlow, before on the Dynamite before the pay-per-view out here in Vegas, which was leading up to Wardlow's match with MJF to get out of everything.
I'm not remembering that.
Yeah, I feel like I would remember that.
Okay, I don't think. Okay, yeah, I didn't think it was aired. It was like between commercials, but it was the absolute cringiest shit ever.
Yeah.
Like beat this guy within an inch of his life with a wrench, and nobody went to jail. Okay, sure.
That's not how it works. He's a wrestler.
Hey, you be nice to New Test.
No, not New Test.
He's talking about Spears.
Spears, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. Oh my God, it was. I was just like, what the fuck?
You still be nice to New Test. I don't care.
No, I never will. Never, ever.
This is a new test. That'll be a good theme song.
This is a new test. This is a new test.
This is not Test.
This is not a new test. This is not a new test. This is not a new test.
You ever go back and like listen to the theme music from like the Attitude Era? And it was good, but it was also bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? Like some of like Austin's theme, fucking incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Test's theme, not so incredible. No. There's some other ones that Meat. Do you guys remember Meat?
Oh.
He wrestled with a boner. That was his gimmick.
Yes, he
Nobody
did.
wanted to wrestle.
with the Pretty Mean Sisters.
Yes. Oh, they were bad. They had a theme too. I love those old themes. They're so fucking bad.
They are.
Some of them are great though. Like the Big Boss Man, Demolition, like they had really good themes.
Mm-hmm.
Then you listen to like Duke the Dumpster Drozy's theme was the backup sound from a garbage truck.
Yes, it was.
And he was also from Mount Trashmore.
Was it just the fucking the beep 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 the backup noise?
Oh
my
That's
god!
all it was. It's
I
really
kind of
fucking
love
bad.
those
Wow.
those old stupid gimmicks where people had like ridiculous
T.L. Hopper.
where they were
T.L.
from.
Hopper. T.L. Hopper's music was a toilet flushing. This is our plumber.
That was the thing.
And he was from
Yeah.
the
Dear
top
God.
shelf of your toilet.
Wow.
Some of those
He's from the upper deck.
some of those themes were just incredible, and some of those themes are like I listen to them now and I'm just like, oh my god, this is the worst thing ever.
It was definitely hit or miss. They were either
Yeah,
recognizable
one or the
because
other.
they sucked or because they were really good.
Yeah, there's no opposite. It's just one or the other. God, I love old themes. I have a folder of them of MP3s that I'll just randomly listen to, and then some of them is just like, what in the fuck?
Who was high when they came up with this?
Mr. Johnson.
Vincent Johnson, yeah. What else do you have, bud? Now that we're talking
Why
about
is Tony Khan a vampire sympathizer?
I don't follow.
Here's my thing. I swear to God, every single week there's somebody getting busted open, and then there's somebody else taking a handful of the blood and licking it. Why the fuck is everybody doing that all the time? They gotta be vampires. He's hiring vampires. Mox is a vampire.
Moxie.
Hangman's a vampire. I'm certain of it.
Moxie.
You saw what Hangman was wearing, and he was a sparkly cowboy. It's pretty close to a sparkling vampire. He's a Twilight vampire. I think it works. It fits.
I think, Bud, you're jumping to conclusions.
I think
But you are seeing things. You are seeing patterns that aren't there.
I think people are eating blood too much. It's not. I just watched that today, and I was like, "Why the fuck is everybody doing this so much?"
I like the way on his tights it was mostly black, but then with them set to look like chaps, it looked like there was a title on the front of his tights to me. I thought that was cool looking.
Yeah.
Did either of you hear about the Ronda Rousey Twitch thing, where she was talking on Twitch about how she wanted to, when she fought Liv Morgan at the pay-per-view in that match that was by far the worst match of the night, she wanted the ending to be done in thumbtacks, and they wouldn't let her do it because they said we can't actually hurt each other, and we can't have blood. Which,
I saw something about. I didn't see that, but I saw something about she doesn't want them to have women in the title for the women's title anymore, which is confusing to me. But
you'd have to call it something else. I'm kind of on board for that. But at the same time, those are the people who are fighting for it. So I don't know.
It's like, there's no men's designation for most of the belts. We've had China be the Intercontinental Champion and stuff like that. But there is the women's designation for those belts.
I'm just gonna tell you straight up what is popping in my mind right now.
Fire away.
Because if Vince McMahon was in charge, here's what would happen.
Oh God.
They would take the women out of the title. It would become a new WWE title, and then Baron Corbin would start beating up women and become the WWE Women's Champion. And in about 3 months tops.
I don't even think it would take. He did that. He did that. He did. We forget that he did that. Harvey Winkleman dressed up as a woman and won the women's title.
Yeah, he'd have somebody like Baron Corbin do it. Put on a wig and be like, I'm a woman now, but it's not a women's championship, so it doesn't matter. I can be whatever I want, and I'm going to be the champion. And he'd fucking go beat the shit out of.
He would have some shitty take on trans rights.
Yeah, how
for starters.
how long before we had one of them doing the fucking Apache helicopter joke? Yeah.
It wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
It would not be good.
That's what I'm saying with that. I'm sorry. If that wasn't clear, I was saying that would be absolutely atrocious, but that's where they would go with it because Vince.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
the first thing that popped in my mind because I'm so conditioned to think like, okay, yeah, not a bad idea, but what would Vince do? But he's not there, so it's possible. But that is what Vince would do, and we all know that's what he would do. Baron Corbin's the women's champion because we're not calling it the women's champion. And then Baron would be like, I'm not the women's champion, I'm the WWE champion.
And then there would be a third show that would randomly pop up. Or fourth show, or fifth show. It would be
it
there
would be
in
bad.
time.
Then the belt would mean nothing, and then they would just like it would fucking let's not do that. As good of an idea as it is. What else do you have, bud?
I feel like, maybe I'm putting too much faith in AEW here, but I feel like AEW could pull something like that off. If they had a women's, like a weekly women's show, like a dedicated women's show, it would make sense. I mean, they don't call them women's titles in Japan. So they could do it.
What if we don't call it a women's title and we call it a Divas title?
Oh God.
Perfect. Totally. Yeah.
Not steps backwards, town.
They could be like, welcome to our show tonight. It's all about lady wrestlers.
But they never called it. They never called it the Superstars Championship.
Yeah, they definitely have to put some thought into who they'd have announcing that too.
I don't.
Really offensive people.
I'm on Leon's side.
You know what?
Why do we call it the women's title?
Renee
but
and Excalibur doing that show.
Yeah, I would pay for that. I mean, I am paying for it.
Give me Renee and Excalibur announcing it.
You good?
Yeah,
I'm all for that. I think that's a great idea. I just think
how do you do it?
Yeah, that's the problem. How do you actually?
It's not undoable, but how do you do it? Like, you have to have a plan, because wrestling fans have been conditioned to think that there are the important titles and then the women's title. And I'm being an asshole kind of saying that, but like, that's how it's been framed for our entire lives.
I will say to the defense of WWE, who I don't stand up for a lot, they have done a fucking amazing job of making those titles mean more. Those two titles mean something now. And they busted their ass. I give props to Triple H for that, because he's the one that got that started. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, they're main eventing WrestleManias and shit like that. Props to them. And maybe they are the ones who make that happen.
I just look at you said that, and immediately my mind just pictured Baron Corbin in a blonde wig.
And a dress. Don't forget about the dress.
Wearing like a pink dress over his tights. Like with a stuffed bra or something, and like lipstick on. See there, it's not that it's believable.
Yeah.
Everyone here is like, I could see that. This was an interesting one. I mean, we argued about Bray Wyatt, we argued about Roman. We didn't argue enough. We could have argued this morning at like 8:30 in the morning when we were having that conversation. I think I really had fucking Leon going this morning.
As I typed out meh, as I was hitting the send button, I was like, I should save this energy for tonight. And then I hit the send button, and that was the end of that.
It went off. Good. Yeah, Bray
you've turned me around. I'm a lot more interested in Bray's character. I don't know if I'm not going to watch. Let's be honest. I'm not going to watch Raw, but I will keep track of Bray and see if anything interesting comes out of it.
He's a SmackDown guy. I hope they do something with him, because I think that man has the potential to do some really cool stuff, because he's a creative guy.
Mm-hmm.
But they constantly booked him like a pile of monkey poo.
Mm-hmm.
So here's hoping.
But they now have at least one writer who's like focusing on long-term booking.
Yeah.
And he's a horror writer.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I cannot get the image of Baron Corbin on the blonde wig on my head right now. That's all I fucking see.
So I guess that's the end of the show.
I'm holding the belt up like that after he beat, like, I don't know, Sasha Banks or something in like a minute, because that's what they would do.
Yeah, they would.
Falling. But they're not gonna do that now, so we're good. Is Sasha coming back? What the fuck?
It's a good question. I think
What's
they're
the word on that one?
gonna string it out.
What do you think, Leon?
I think she's going to do what she wants to do. I think maybe because of the whole Star Wars rule and everything, she might think that she has that crossover appeal to actually get into acting and everything. But as we've seen with her acting, I mean, she's got a look, but
Okay,
it's going to take some acting classes.
Hey, I've never watched the Star Wars, so I don't know what you're talking about.
You're not going to get me fired up here.
I have never watched the Star Wars, and I do not know what you were talking about.
Like anything? Or the show she was on?
I have seen the first old movies. I have seen nothing since.
No kidding. Okay.
And I don't really care about the Star Wars.
I don't think the point is specifically about Star Wars, though.
Hey, we were talking about the Star Wars, bud.
Here's $20. Go see a Star Wars.
I don't want to see. I don't want to see Bud Robinson. I don't want to see the Star Wars. I don't want to see it.
I could see her being a part-timer. Why not? Like, get your money. She's a big name in WWE. Come in for a WrestleMania program and then get out. Why the hell not? More power to her.
Especially if she's doing a show like The Star Wars.
She had a part on The Mandalorian Town.
That is the Star Wars show, right?
Oh my god, I kind of want to punch you right now. Kind of want to punch you right in the dick.
Can you tell me what happens on The Star Wars? Because I don't know.
I hate you. I hate you.
Is it a show? Is it about space or?
I'm sort of expecting Leon to like come out of his frame and then come into your frame and throw a chair at you.
But have you seen more of the Star? Have you seen more of the Star Wars than I have?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you're very well versed in the Star Wars?
I would say I'm half as well versed probably as Leon. Yeah.
Leon could be an extra in the Star Wars. You know who I really liked on the Star Wars? I really liked Spock. Who was your favorite? Was it Spock, Leon?
No, it's the best one is the old guy who's like always like following them around, but like he's always crabby about it. You know, they like crash land on the moon or whatever, and he's like, "We're gonna get in trouble, Will Robinson." That old guy. I hate him, but he's perfect on that show.
Oh my god, this is amazing. Oh. So what's the name of the show you watched that Sasha was in? Oh, the Star Wars Mandalorian or something?
Oh, she was Amanda. She was the Amanda in Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mary, that's that right? Is that right, Leon? Me and Bud are cool. We know about the Star Wars.
Oh, Christ.
Let's take a fucking turn, Bud.
I'm dying.
Look at Leon.
I'm dying. Also, I should have never ran out of things to talk about.
Hey, we're talking about
the Star Wars.
Yeah. Is there werewolves on the Star Wars? I feel like there's werewolves.
No, that's Battlestar Galactica.
What's the difference?
Battlestar Galactica took place 100 years before the Star Wars.
Are we sure? Is it the timeline?
Yeah. 100% confirmed. I've seen it on the forums.
Okay, then I believe you. Who's your favorite character from the Star Wars, Leon? Is it Darth Laser?
I love harassing Leon as the next person as much as the next person, but we should run this home.
Holy fuck! This better make it because this.
It's gonna make it, yeah.
Yeah.
This has been the Star Wars podcast with a little bit of wrestling sprinkled in.
Oh, the Star Wars. What's that main character's name in other Star Wars? Is it like Lucas Skyman or whatever?
Darius Tucker, I think. Darius Starman Tucker.
Luke Starboy.
Maybe
his name was
Lucas Starman.
Doug
Mr.
Starman.
Starman. Doug Starman.
Mr. Doug Starman fighting Darth Laser.
Starman, like it's his last name. He's not a superhero.
And they fought in that big square ship, the Death Cube. That was the name of it, right? See, I know how the Star Wars. Leon.
The Death Rhombus.
I know
the rhombus
Star
of
Wars.
the rhombus of killing people. I have been Bud Robinson. That's Leon Robinson. That's Town doing all of the harassing today. This has been the BREWDCAST. Bye, everybody.